Hi, I'm Katie Steinberg, and this is Game Changers. Today, we are joined by the one and only Eric Dickerson. Eric, how's it going?
Good, Katie. How you doing?
Really good. So happy to have you on here today.
Thank you.
Eric, as you know, is a former Mustang and then former Ram. And congrats on the Rams win.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm excited for the football team. We needed this in here in Los Angeles. We haven't ever had a Super Bowl win, for the Los Angeles Rams in LA with all the great teams that we've had here over the years, before we left, 22 years ago. But it's good for the city of Los Angeles.
So good. I'm so excited. I was getting teary-eyed towards the end.
That's right. You're born in LA. You're a California girl.
Yes. I mean, I'm Orange County, but the Rams
Still
did leave
California.
the year I was born, but then they came back. So it's all that matters.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Eric, I know you just wrote a book. So it's Watch My Smoke. What inspired you to write a memoir?
Well, I've been talking about doing it for a long time. Matter of fact, I kind of started about 15 years ago with a guy, that a friend of mine. He was a writer, and he worked over at IU. He was a professor at IU, and he would visit, and we talk. And he said, "Man, you need to do a book." He said, "Your story is so interesting." Man, he said, "Well, I'm gonna come down. You don't mind? I'll stay with you. I just write stuff down, and we just sit out and talk." And we did that for probably about 2 or 3 weeks, and almost every day. And but in the midst of it, he went back to IU and got killed in a fire. He died in a fire. So it just kind of stopped. Yeah, it kind of stopped. And I kept the manuscripts that he had sent to me, and kind of forgot about it for a while. And then a friend of mine, Gustavo Miguel, who I'd met years later, said the same thing. Eric, man, your story, your life is just so interesting, man. Because you're different than the way people have portrayed you early in the '80s and the '90s. And he said, "Man, just some of the stories you tell." My kids always say, "Dad, you're the best storyteller." He said, "You tell great stories." Because I have to make up stories for them, to get them to go to bed or go to school. You go to school and tell me a story about a horse, or tell me a story of a haunted house. So I'd make up these quick stories. And so um, my friend Gustavo said, "Man, I'm gonna find you a book writer." I said, "Okay." And so he went through the process of trying to find a couple of writers, and he went to two or three guys, and it just didn't. They wrote some stuff, and I read it, and it didn't sound like me, at all. I mean, it's not the way I would talk, and so that just didn't. Yeah, I mean, I won't forget one was like I said something. I went, "Golly, gee whiz!" I'm like, "Oh man, please, I would never say no crap like that.
That
That's
is
not.
not you.
That's not. I'd say, oh shit, just something's gonna say." So anyway, so finally he found the guy, Greg Hanlon. He said, "Eric, I read a book that he wrote." He said it was on a topic that was not very interesting, but he made it so interesting. So he said, I'm gonna talk to him. So sure enough, we got with Greg, and we started the book, and we stopped and started because we really couldn't find a publisher at the time. It was kind of like hard to find a publisher, because I've been removed from the game for so long. And then we came up with Haymarket, and they loved it. They loved the idea. They loved the book, and Greg did a fantastic job writing it. I gotta say, when I say the book sounds just like me, I just did the audio book a couple of weeks ago. It sounds exactly like myself. I mean, I'm proud of it. The audio book was very difficult to do, but the book itself sounds like it and tells my story. I mean, and one thing that people know about me, Katie, you're too young to know. You actually you a little girl. I keep it 100. I mean, I'm straight up. I mean, I'm no nonsense. I mean, even by myself. I mean, I'm not no none. I'm not the guy that won't call myself out on something too. I call myself out on things too. So the book is about my life. It's about my life as an NFL player, college, high school, and just about my life in general. I mean, it has a lot of stories. It has a lot of stories in there. It just talks about um, starts off talking about an incident that happened when I was in Indianapolis. I played for the Indianapolis Colts, and the book opens up with that, where we had to go to the owner's party. He used to make us go to his party, or they'd fine you for not going to his party. And his party was in his barn at his house in Indiana, and this is in the wintertime in December. So it was his Christmas party, and Bob Ursay was an alcoholic. He was an alcoholic. So you never know what would come out of his mouth. And so he proceeds to tell me and some other guys a joke. He said, comes up, and says, "I'm gonna tell you guys a joke. I'm gonna tell you guys a joke." Comes over here. He got the two guys with him. The two we call him his handlers. He's got his two handlers with him, and his joke starts off. You got a kike, you got a wetback, and you got a nigga. That's exactly how he starts his joke off. And I said, fuck that. I said, I'm out of here. They're like, oh God, sorry. It's, they twist him off, and next day they had me come in. Everything was sorry about Mr. Ursay. He said some things. He was drinking. He's not a racist. I'm like, man, that's just no excuse for that. And that's kind of how the book starts. Just kind of goes through stuff in my life. As a, like I said, as a player and as a black athlete. I think people think that when you're an athlete, you're successful, or think you're successful, they think you have it easy. And I never had it easy. I mean, nothing has ever been given to me ever. I mean, everything I have, I've earned, and I know I've earned it. I'm not a person asks somebody to give me something, do something to me. I don't mind working for it. But so, that's kind of the story of my life. But I'm proud of it, and I'm glad I did it.
I'm so excited, and I'm proud of you too. You're welcome. Um, is there a message that you really want to get out to younger players or the future players of the NFL?
For the younger players in the NFL, I got to get it. I give credit where credit is due. The NFL has done some really good things. They really have. They've helped players kind of adjust after playing football. They gave them different outlets and different programs they're trying to help players with. Because when we played, we had nothing like that. Once you're done, it was like you just a piece of meat. Get out of here, or you yesterday's garbage. That's the way it was. Today, they try to have programs for players. They have if you have a mental issue, they try to help you with some of the mental issues you have because players do have mental issues. I mean, we really do. I think as a black man, I can tell you, growing up as a kid, black people, we didn't look at it. We didn't think that. We didn't think like that. Psychiatrists. I mean, you don't even know. You don't. The first thing, you don't even know psychiatrists. That's what the mother. You don't even know. Say, he should have got his ass whipped when he was a kid. Yeah, yeah. You don't need. That's not the thing that we thought. But you do have black athletes and black people that have mental problems. They really just like anybody else. We're human. So they've done a good job of that. They've done some great things trying to protect the players. They've done good jobs at that. But what I think the NFLPA and the NFL itself has not done a good job of is taking care of their players, making their players feel like they're still a part of the game, and when they want to be, they make them feel like I said, like they want to just be disposed of. Right, a family. They have that slogan, "We're family." That slogan's bullshit. The only family is the players. The player. We feel like family. We really do because we know what it's like out there. Those people in the offices that wear the suits and the secretaries and they don't know what it's like. They have no idea. Some of the guys have no idea what it's like to even put on a uniform. If you took a uniform apart and laid it out, they couldn't put it together. It's just like taking an M16 and driving it down in front of me. I couldn't put that M16 together because I've never been in the military. But I can sit in Congress and talk about, oh, we should do this, we should do that. We know what it's like. You've never been in the battlefield, so then they don't know what they're talking about. But I say some of those parts of the National Football League they dropped the ball on. I mean, and like the healthcare issue. I mean, players should have healthcare for the rest of their lives because these guys who have healthcare for 5 years that the NFLPA has set up. DeMar Smith, who's a joke. Think about it. If you're 5 years out of the league, most of the guys are gonna be like 35, 30, maybe 40. Your problems don't start till later. Your problems start when you're like 50, 55, 60, 70, and you have no health care. You can't afford health care. So it's so many things that they've dropped the ball on. But like I said, it's some things that the NFL personally has done a good job on. And for players, young players, I would tell a young player is like, look, don't get into something you don't know, you don't understand. Don't listen to your boy Pookie over here, or a little dead man. He got a deal for you because they don't know what they're talking about. They're gonna take your money. Some of these friends that the guys run around with. I know they're your boys when you're in high school and stuff, but some of those guys are not good for you. And it's the truth. I mean, you have to separate yourself from that because we as black athletes, some we're revered by a lot of people, black and white, not just black athletes. The thing is that we have to you have to do better. You set a standard. If you want you think, I always look back, right? Would you want your kid driving drunk and hit and kill somebody? Would you want your kid assaulting a woman? Would you want your kid doing that kind of stuff? No, you wouldn't. I can say, for me, I thank God. My mother, when I left Texas, she said to me two things: don't go out there and embarrass yourself, and don't go out there and embarrass me. And I never did. Like, I thank God I've never been arrested and done that kind of stuff. I hope I never do, knock on wood. I just tried to make my mother proud. I mean, that was my thing, tried to make her proud of me, and my hometown. So I tell all these young guys, man, you're gonna be an old man a lot longer. You're gonna wear that NFL uniform, and I'm living proof.
I was actually, it's funny you touch on that. One of my coworkers, when I told him that I was going to have you on the show, he was like, you have to, he's from East Texas. And he was like, you have to ask him about growing up in East Texas and what that was like compared to all of this. And I'm like, okay, so I guess what was, what was it like being such a big name in such a small town?
It was different. It really was. And because, I was always grounded. I mean, look, my dad, I was adopted. I was legally adopted. That's in my book also. I mean, I was raised by my great aunt and my dad, her husband, my dad. And my dad was the best man I knew. I mean, still to this day, I wish I could be more like him. Um, it was, it's not a lot to do. I mean, for us, it was going to the 7-Eleven, cow tipping and all that kind of stuff,
Cow
It wasn't
tipping,
a lot.
yes.
It wasn't a lot to do, I gotta say, because I'm from a small town. At that time, it was 2,000 people. It's a lot bigger now, but I love growing up in Texas. Texas high school football was everything. I think it still is the best high school football in the country. Um, you you're a star at a young age. The thing is that I go with my old high school coach told me, Ron Meyer. He says, don't start reading those clips because you start believing that stuff, and the press will turn on you. So I've never been big on reading the articles that people write, good or bad. I mean, I can say that, good or bad. I've had good articles written, I had bad articles written, and I just don't read them. And I think I read one just the other day. A guy wrote, he asked me to read it because I talked to him for a couple of hours. I mean, like at least an hour about it. And it was a good article. I said it was a good article. I don't like to read articles. And it goes back to when I was playing, go back to high school football. It goes back to high school. When I got, recruited by SMU, I was recruited by every school. I was the number one recruit in the nation from a small school. Ended up going to SMU. Didn't play well my first year. Didn't play well my first year. I was, struggled. I was a freshman. And the media said that they should take my scholarship. I was a bust. They should take my scholarship away. And so I never was a media darling after that. I never trusted the media, never liked the media from that point on. So, but for me, like I said, growing up in Texas, I love it. I'm a Texan still, even though I live in Southern California. I still have my Texas driver's license. I just got my new license renewed. So,
See, I'm in Texas and I still have my California driver's license, so I'm getting that fixed.
yeah.
So we're switching.
So yeah, yeah.
I love it. Back to your book really quick. In your memoir, you mentioned how you woke up to what other players were making. Do you think that the NFL is headed towards a reckoning? The star running backs declining for the option of doing the position, as a committee and teams are looking at drafting star running backs that have to be on rookie contracts and not signing them to bigger deals once their deal's up and then moving on to the next college back. So, running backs one of the positions more prone to getting injured. Do you think we'll see a pushback from young players who've, wrecked their bodies and never really got their big payday?
It's unfortunate that they have these contracts in place where a lot of running backs can't get the big payday. I mean, I did. It was a good big payday back in those days. I mean, I never got it from the Rams. I got it from the Colts. 4 years later, but I was still producing. That was the thing. Running back today, they're not built like we were built. I mean, I was built to carry the ball 30 times. I could do it. I didn't miss my first game till my 7th year, and it was because of a hamstring injury. Um, I just think it's unfair to lock a kid in for 4 years, and sometimes it's like that's the height of his career. That could be it. I mean, he may play great for 4 years, and after that 5th or 6th year, they start to drop off, and then they don't want to pay him. They make you play those 4 years under a rookie contract, but yet they pay the quarterbacks different salaries. They pay them differently. I mean, they can come in like they can struggle for 3 years and then kind of hit their stride in their 5th or 6th year. Well, that's not pretty much not going to happen for a running back. I wish they changed that. I wish they pay the guys, let the guys have if it's a 3-year deal, a 2-year deal, but make it enough money where, to me, like it's life changing. I'll say that much because look, the owners of the National Football League is making life changing money. I mean, it really is. I mean, with gambling in place, I said this years ago they're gonna get gambling, but no one wanted to believe me or hear it. They have gambling. Yeah, that's probably another $20 billion to the National Football, maybe more. I mean, it could be even more. But I think that you hear this about running back is this, running back that. These guys start that talk. I say again, never played the position. I mean, um, it's just unfair. I don't know if it'll ever change because the thing is, our union is not strong enough. I mean, we don't have the right people in place. If you wanna deal with a lion, I'll use that. If you want to deal with a lion, you have to have someone that has that same killer instinct to deal with that lion. Another lion knows how to deal with a lion. Not a kitty cat. Not a Rottweiler. A little child, a human with nothing in his hand. A lion knows how to deal with another lion, and that's the people that should be helping make decisions for us. Like I'm gonna use Warren Buffett, for instance. Let's use Warren Buffett. When Warren Buffett's a brilliant businessman. Warren Buffett, and let's just say, I'm gonna use him and say 10 people like him should be negotiating against the NFL. Real business people, not these bozos like DeMar Smith that sell you out, that has no idea he's trying to put a paycheck in his pocket. Guys like Warren Buffett and those businessmen, they don't need it. We want to help the players. We're trying to help you. That is where I think the NFL should have looked and should be looking to. Because if not, it's never going to change. I mean, it's never going to change. I mean, you're going to always pay, the quarterback the most money, and just make it plain and simple. I mean, a lot of the white players, the white quarterback's going to make most of the money. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, the guy said this to me 3 weeks ago. I did an interview, and he talked about the pension and the disability and insurance. He said, "Eric, he said, I'm gonna say this. I'm a white reporter. I knew he was white." He said, "If the National Football League was 70, 80% white," he said, "you wouldn't have this problem." He said, "I'm saying that." I say, "You said it, I didn't." We know it. I mean, we know it. I mean, I didn't say it. He said it to me. So, that's just how this world is. That's how the league is. That's how they set it up. But we've done nothing about it. I mean, the players have all the power. I mean, when I say all the power, they have all the power, every bit of it. They don't realize it. I mean, even we didn't realize it back in the day because we didn't have great leadership. I mean, when I look at it, if the players really want to do something, you're talking about having a strike. When you strike like week 16 or 17, and no playoffs. We're not playing. You can't make us play. We done got our paychecks for the whole year. No, we're not playing. No, we know we're not gonna do no playoffs. All of a sudden, because panic's gonna set in. You got a playoff game coming up next week. We have no players. What are we gonna do? We don't have time to go get enough scab players or whatever you want to call them. I mean, yeah, that's how you make change.
Do you think the players just don't realize it at the time? Like you're saying, like when you're in it, it's kind of hard to realize that that's when you have the power because you're just so invested in the game and the sport.
I think that we don't have guaranteed contracts is another thing, and we don't have great leadership. That's what it comes. You don't have people that really explain it to you to have a real game plan in place. The main thing is getting the players to stick together. They won't stick together. I mean, when I tried to do the thing with the Hall of Fame, helping Hall of Famers get a stipend for being Hall of Famers, getting probably having health care for life. They vilified me. Like I'm like, what the hell am I getting out of it? But a bunch of headache. I mean, I'm gonna get the same thing y'all get. I mean, it's no different for me, but they don't want to hear that. I mean, and so you can't get players to stick together. You really can't. Out of say the 100 players that I talked to, maybe 15 or 20 want to do it. But I'm gonna tell you, the real champions of this story is the wives, the girlfriends who are stuck with our old asses, broke down, beat up. We're not the man we used to be, but the women, the good women who stand there with their husbands. I mean,
And
because
they're
I've seen
caring
it.
for
I've seen
you
it.
and the
They're caring for you,
patience. Yeah.
right? I've seen it. I've seen it, and it's really sad that they put a good woman or a good wife in those kind of predicaments.
So from your point of view of looking at low paychecks, not worth risking the injury that can change your life, do you think that a minor league in football is even possible?
Well, I think it's possible because look, everyone's not going to play professional football. That's just not the fact. You're not cut out for it. Everyone can't make that cut. I mean, um, some guys just want to play football. They want to have a chance to do it again. They're willing to take that risk to play. They want to play ball. They want to. So it's a place for it. It really is. I think it's a place for it. I mean, some guys have to have two jobs. They play football and have another job, but that's how it was when we played. Believe it or not, guys played pro football and they played in the NFL and they had jobs in the summertime, selling cars or working in an insurance company or had their own kind of small business or whatever it was, car washes, gas stations. Yeah, I do believe it's a spot for it because yeah, I believe it's a place because a lot of those players, they love the game so much. They want to play. They want to continue to play, but they'll never make it to that level of playing professional football.
Like with that, the USL launches this spring, and then the XFL is kind of, eyeing a comeback. But do you think those leagues can really come back? I mean, what they can offer is kind of pennies. They just can't offer as much. So would you say it's worth the risk for the players who do want to make it to the next level?
Well, some guys, yeah. I mean, look, I think this: if the NFL is backing you, if you got backing from the NFL, if you have the right sponsors, or you have someone with enough money to do it, most definitely, I think it's worth it. You have minor league baseball teams, you have G League basketball teams, so football should be no different. I mean, it's just a more brutal sport.
Have the relationships with sponsors and athletes evolved since your day? And I can't help think of the carrot cake when I ask this.
Yeah, man, has it for sure. I mean, most definitely. I mean, like sponsorships were small back in the day. Some were bigger than others. I mean, Michael Jordan set the trend for sure with Nike. He chose the right brand. The brand chose him. Both they chose each other, and I think it's a great fit. Um, Walter Payton was with Kangaroo. Like, they're not even around anymore when I played, and since you're talking about the carrot cake, I'll tell you the whole story. My friend Walter Payton, he was a Kangaroo, and he broke Jim Brown's all-time rushing record. I think of 16,000 yards, whatever it was, and he got a Lamborghini from Kangaroo. And when I broke OJ's rushing record rushing for a single season or 2,000 yards, I got a carrot cake. And I'll never forget it. They came to the complex, and this Adidas was my sponsor. The hell, man, they still owe me something. Golly, a freaking cake. It's just so embarrassing. I mean, really think about that. A cake. Like it was a bad cake. Like I'm 8 years old.
Do you even
Yeah,
like carrot cake?
I can't. I'm allergic to nuts. I couldn't even eat the damn cake. So they brought the cake over, and they had it sitting out there with candles, like it was a birthday, like I was a birthday. I mean, it was so. I mean, think about that. I mean, kidding me. And the guy's like, "Man, I know this is a joke, isn't it? I know it's
I
a
could
kid
see
or
you sitting
somewhere."
there with your arms crossed, like,
I was, I was,
no.
I was really like baffled by it. So that's what I got for my accomplishment of going for 2,000 yards. I got a carrot cake. Like I tell you before, nothing never been given to me. I got to earn everything. So I guess I earned my carrot cake that I never ate. But yeah, the sponsorships have changed for players so much, especially in basketball. I mean, it's off the chain, but football has changed also, for sure. I mean, and I'm happy for players. I'm really happy for the players. I mean, because look, you only gonna have this opportunity once to be young, and then after a while, they move on to the next young guy.
That is a really interesting perspective. Does it make you feel more or less significant, or just kind of like a way of life? Or at least
Just
I've
a way of
done as
life.
much as I could with my spot in it all,
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I feel like it is what it is. I mean, hey, I'm not a bitter player. Like, I'm not that guy that's bitter about things. Not at all. Hey, I played in the era I played in. And I'm glad I played in that era. I really am. Um, do I think wish things would have been different? Do I wish they'd have paid me right? Playing for LA, and I would have never left LA. Of course I do, but it didn't work out like that. I was the second pick in the draft. Elway was first. I was second. Elway was making $1 million. I'm making $150,000. I mean, that's a big drop off. Yeah, next to the year for 2,000 yards, I was making $200,000. I mean, you know, I mean, it was different. I mean, it was really different, and the way they paid us, and the way they treated the players. We had no outlet. We had no free agency. But that's how the league was back then, and the league is, came full circle. I just feel like just to me, there's two things that really bother me about the National Football League: not guaranteed contracts and health care for the rest of your life for players. I feel like though if they got those things right, and a real pension, a real proper pension for players, I think if they got those three things right, we'd be the players would be happy with the league. The league. I think it's sad that you look at a sport that you play, you love so much. In a sense, you despise it. You don't despise the sport. You despise the way you treat it. You love. I love the sport. I still love football. I mean, I don't like watching it, but I love the sport. I mean, when I was playing, I loved everything about it. I mean, I won't forget when it came time of football season, I could smell it in the air. It was a smell about,
It's a
okay,
way
this
of
is football
life,
time.
It's
Yeah,
such a
man
huge part of
became
your
a way of
life,
life.
and
Right.
it's always gonna be there. What's the most ridiculous and outlandish gift you've gotten in your career? Um, so we know you've gotten some funny gifts over the years.
And you mean that I
Um,
bought for myself or what? Or somebody bought gave
no,
me?
that you've so we'll do two. Gotten for yourself and then also just been given. So not the carrot cake, that one, we've already covered that, but we know about, and this can be college or pro, but we we know about the gold Trans Am. Loved that. If you want to tell that story, feel free as well. But then after, I want to hear the most ridiculous gift you've been given and then bought for yourself as well.
Well, the Gold Trans Am, everybody talks about the Gold Trans Am, and they don't have it right. I try to explain it, but they don't seem to get it. The Trans Am was bought by my grandmother, and I said that from day one. And that's all I knew. I knew that from day one. I mean, I was a kid, so we go down to Leo Johnny and Pontiac because I saw the car, riding by the freeway. And this particular day, she said, your grandmother wanted to meet us in Houston. We're gonna meet at the car dealership. Now, my grandmother was different from my mother because they thought I was talking about the same person because my mother was older, but my grandmother lived in Houston with my grandfather. So we go down to Leo Jonigan, see the car, and they asked me to go out to drive. And some other white men there, I didn't know who they were. I mean, I knew a couple of guys, one guy from Sealy. My hometown is an Aggie town. It's Aggie town. So make a long story short, a couple hours, maybe an hour later, they said, okay, gave me the keys, it's yours. I'm like, what? I got the car. So I took the car, and I was excited too. That's what my mom said, God, how we get the car? She said, don't worry about it. She said, you ain't never got to worry. That's gonna never come back on you. That's what she said. And they tried to, it tried to because the NCAA came in pretty much the next day, a couple of days later, to interview me about the Trans Am, and I told them, hey, you gotta go talk to my mother and my grandmother about it. They came to my school. I was in lab class, and the guy came to the door and said, hey, I asked the teacher, can you speak to Eric Dickerson? And the teacher said, Eric, can you come up here for a second? Guy, I want to talk to you outside. So sure enough, it was a guy from the NCAA, black guy, and I told him, Mom, I'll meet you after school. But my mother is, you talk to my mother, my grandmother. So we took him home. He talked to my mom, and my mother called my grandmother on the phone, and they talked. And that man stayed around for, I'm serious, over a month, almost every day, even on the weekends. Even on the weekends, he was there. He became there so much that he sometimes even eat dinner with us at home. Probably a violation, really. So anyway, at the end, I mean, it was probably like, I don't know, say 30 days. My grandmother, which is in Houston, said, "Hey, look, we've had enough of this. If we see you anymore, see this NCAA stuff, we're gonna sue you personally, and we're gonna sue the NCAA." Boom, never saw him again. And I found out later how the car was purchased, which my grandmother told me. My mom told me first. She told me. I said, Mom, because I never asked. I asked, but she never told me. I was in the pros. So she said, look, she said, your grandmother bought that car. She said she paid for that car. She said, and the grandfather paid for it. They had the money for it. And she said, then Texas A&M gave them the money back. They got the money back. And so she said it was a wash for the car. They gave him cash back. So that's how the car was bought. So boom, my grandmother bought the car, just like I
She
said.
bought the car, yeah.
She bought the car. Yeah, I think about it's true. It's a true story. So I think the most outlandish thing for me that I ever bought myself, let me think. Well, first of all, I mean, I like some things I did. I bought a Testarossa. I always wanted a Testarossa. After I saw Miami Vice, I bought a Testarossa Ferrari. Man, I love that car, even though it rode like a tractor. um, but I think the funny thing I always wanted a mink coat. I want a full length mink, and I bought a full length mink coat. I bought a full length mink coat that I wore just a couple of times. I know I went to Chicago. We played the Bears in the NFC Championship game, but I didn't wear it much after that. So that was kind of a waste of money and time. But I think the thing I'm most proud of that I bought was I bought my mom her first real car, brand new car. I bought her when I got drafted. I bought her a Cadillac because the Cadillac was like a black woman. That was like our Mercedes Benz. I bought a Cadillac. It was a Cadillac Sandyville is what it was called. It was red and white. It was 4-door. Bought that, and then I built a house for her. I built a house in Texas. I built my mom a house, and I still have that. I still have that house. As a matter of fact, it's got just messed up in the water. It's getting redone, but it's a really nice house. I'm really proud. I'm really proud of the things that I did for my mother. I can say that. I said that in my book. And look, there's a few things that I can say about myself. I wasn't perfect. I mean, I was not the perfect guy all the time, but I tried to be as good as I possibly could be. But I can say this much instead. I can stand on this. I was a good son. I was a really good son to my mother, and my dad passed away, and I'm proud to be able to say that because I always wanted to be a good son. And for your mom to say that, it's not about the things I bought her, just about the respect factor I had, because I never talked back to her. I mean, there was times, I don't forget, she would get on me when I was grown. I mean, yell at me, and I was so mad, but I wouldn't say nothing. I said, "Mama, don't talk to me like that. You don't tell me how to talk to you." I mean, what could I ask God? I couldn't say nothing else. But I was respectful to my mother, and like I said, I was a good son.
You are a proud mama's boy, and we love it.
Very much so.
It takes a very strong woman to raise, a strong man. So I feel like you're the byproduct of that.
My mother was very strong. I can say, man, some of the stories in my book, you'll see if you ever read it. Whoo, man, she she was a trip, but she didn't take no mess. I mean, because you understand, my mother was born in she was born in 1904. She was because like I said, I was adopted. I was legally adopted by my great aunt. She was born in 1904, and she would tell me, she said, "Eric, let me tell you something, son. See, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I saw with my own eyes, Eric." She said, "I'm telling you, I saw the white man hang black men. I saw it. I saw them cut their privates out and stick it in their mouth. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw them tar and feather them." Because it was a little white girl that I liked. Her name was Sheila Tomlinson from Sealy. And I forget my mother. It was different. That's her life, right? That's the history. You see the real history of what happened in the United States was her. She would say they'd have their way with the black women, which meant rape for black women. Because there was a lot of, like my mother, like she was really she looked like a little white lady. She looked like a little white lady. My mother was half white. She said, "I'm not white." "I'm not white." But she really was. But, it was just, it was so many things. Like, we'll go back to the girl I liked, Sheila. And she told me, she said, "Look, son, let me tell you something. I'm not having that, Eric." She says, "Two things don't live long in this world." And I'm like, "Okay, what are those things?" She said, "Dogs that chase cars and Negroes that chase white women. They don't have long lives." I just thought that was so funny, but I still laughed at it. But that was her belief.
On that note, we are thank you so much for coming on. This has been amazing. And I'm so excited I can't decide if I'm going to read or listen to your book. I feel like I'd like the audio with your voice, because
you probably like the audio better.
Yeah, because I feel like the audio, we need some personality of you in it. So I'll probably be like going a little jog or something listening. But for everyone else, please go and buy Eric's book either via audio or, paperback, hardcover, anything like that. So excited for you. And thank you for being the best guest. And make sure to tune in Tuesdays and Wednesdays for new episodes of Game Changers. But thank you so much, Eric. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Tell your dad I said hello.
I will.